So coming to the chemistry and source, these atropine, they are obtained from Solanaceae family, and it isn't anything that is obtained from the plant which is a alkaloid, most commonly is a alkaloid. And the source, if you see here, atropine is obtained from Atropa belladonna, otherwise called as deadly nightshade. It is also obtained from Datura stramonium, another plant which is otherwise called as Jimson weed or thorn apple. This you would have come across. I will show you the picture in the next slide. Then hyoscine or scopolamine, it is mainly obtained from Hyoscyamus niger. So these are the plant from which these substances, the natural substances, are obtained. And if you take atropine, the atropine is nothing but it is a combination of acid and base. So here the common thing is tropic acid, whereas in atropine the base it is a tropine, whereas in case of hyoscine the base is the scopine. So tropic acid plus tropine is the atropine, the structure if you take, whereas tropic acid plus scopine, it is a scopolamine or hyoscine. So this is the plant Atropa belladonna from which the atropine is obtained. This is one variety, and this is the common variety which we can come across in our country. People, this is the Oomattai they used to say in Tamil, and this is the Datura metal, Datura stramonium, where this you can see the thorn apple, okay, and people use this for poisoning. Actually sometimes they use this for the poisoning. Right, now coming to the pharmacological actions, what happens with atropine as a prototype, and what they do in the different systems. Okay, so first we start with the central nervous system. So atropine in general, they behave as a CNS stimulant, but not at low doses, with very high doses. Okay, they stimulate the CNS excitation they can produce, right? Okay, but in case of hyoscine, it produces a depressant effect on the central nervous system, whether it is a low doses or even at high doses. Okay, and atropine also stimulates the vagal center, respiratory center and vasomotor center in the brain, and hyoscine only has got a CNS depressant effect, whether it is low doses or high doses, as I told you. Then coming to the atropine, when it acts on the basal ganglia, as I told you, these atropine substitutes can be used in the treatment of Parkinsonism, because there will be over activity of the cholinergic system. So what happens? It produces an anticholinergic effect by acting on the basal ganglia and then controls the tremor and rigidity. Then if you give high dose of atropine, what happens in the brain? So as I said, high doses will produce a CNS stimulant, so leading to excitation, restlessness, hallucination, delirium, and if it's still going higher doses, it can lead to respiratory depression and coma. So these are some of the pharmacological effects that atropine produces in the central nervous system. Then comes to the eye. This is the most important effect. So as I said earlier, mainly these group of drugs are used in the ophthalmologist for eye checkup to dilate the pupil, and so it produces a mydriatic effect by blocking the receptor. As I told you earlier, in the cholinergic drugs I would have talked about the different types of muscarinic and nicotinic receptors and the various subtypes where it is present. Okay, so in case of eye, the M3 receptors, muscarinic receptors is present. Normally the acetylcholine acts on the M3 receptors and causes contraction of the circular muscle of the iris. But here in case of atropine, which blocks the M3 receptors and thereby leads to the dilatation of the pupil called mydriasis. At the same time, because of a full dilatation of the pupil, the light reflex will be lost and there will be a accommodation reflex, that is the ciliary muscles, everything will be blocked, so cycloplegia will be there. So because of the full dilatation, there will be a blurring of near vision. So these are some of the side effects of the anticholinergic drugs.